this is a picture that we're going to work on, and there are two that you're going to end up with. Here's the finished result. Nice sketch effect. Two to do. Ends up looking like that. Okay, so the first thing is duplicate the background. So Control J and you duplicate the background. And then we're going to desaturate the copy. Now you can do Control Shift U, or you can go down to here to hue and saturation. Okay. And actually I'm going to cancel that. Put this away. Control Shift U desaturizes it. All the color goes away. Alright? And then we're going to duplicate this. So Control J to duplicate another one. And then we're going to invert this so that it becomes like a black and white image. So you go up to Image, Adjustments, Invert. Where'd it go? There we are. Control I. And there we have the negative black and white effect. And at this point, you pull down the blend mode, and we're looking for color dodge. So, oops, stand back. It's okay. White is good. White is good. Because if you pull down the opacity, way down here, come on. Come on down. You can see it's still there. Alright? And you can see the negative the thumbnail is still there too. Gosh, this class is noisy. So, then I go up to Filter, Blur. We want a Gaussian blur going on this one. And then we're going to play around with the radius. I'm going to pull this down. And we're aiming for a kind of a sketchy ink effect. Round about there. Okay. Bingo. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to get a new layer. And then we're going to copy all of these layers into it. It's like our insurance policy. So if we make a mistake, we'll still have these layers left. So, to do that, you hold down Alt, Control, Shift, E. That's Alt, Control, Shift, E. And if you didn't get that, if you hold the Alt down and then you go up to, is it Image? Where is it? Layer. Yeah, Layer, and then it would be Merge Visible. But Alt, Control, Shift, E. I do that a lot. I like insurance policies. Right, we're going to go up to Filter, Brush Strokes, and we want Cross Hatch. Up it comes. Okay, now play along with how big a stroke you want. How big a painted effect do you want? How sharp do you want it? There's no right or wrong. It's personal taste. And then when you're ready, okay. And it renders. It takes a little while. There we go. I'd like to fade that crosshatch a bit. Just a bit too much for me. So I'll reduce the opacity just a tad it. There we go. Happy. Okay. Now we're going to put a texture on this. Filter. Texture. Texturizer. Up comes our textures. And I'm going to pull down. I want sandstone. Here's sandstone. Then scale around. How big a sandstone effect do you want? You want it really big? Or a lot less? Okay. Anyway, I'm going to go alright with that. Okay. Now, we go back to the background, alright? We're making sure we've got our background. I'm going to duplicate that background. Control J to duplicate it. This is why we keep all our layers. And then I'm going to move that copy, and I'm going to dump it up at the top. So now we have a colored copy up on the top. Almost finished. I'm going to reduce the opacity on this so we get that nice effect that we've been working so hard to create. See it? If you go right down, it takes it back to what is beneath. And if you increase the opacity, you get some color effect. There's no right or wrong. Alrighty. Good with that. And then I'm going to do a fill layer. So this is my fill layer, hue and saturation. Now then, we've been in here before. I'm not going to click colorize. I can see reds here. I can see blues. There's the blues. I can see greens. So those are the colors that I'm going to adjust. I'll start off with reds, and you increase the saturation. We're looking for a sketch effect. And then I've got, what else did I say, greens, and I'm going to increase that. I'm just bringing out the color. And then I've got, what else was it, blues, and we'll see the sky. Alrighty, okay, and that's basically it. Okay, now all we want is to put our vignette on. I'm going to click on, get myself a new layer. I'm going to take the elliptical tool. I'm going to put a feather in here of, I'll say 15. I'm going to draw a selection around the chap's head. Click, I go into the middle and I can move it into position. Alrighty. And now I want to invert this. So I right click, select inverse. I've got my double marching ants. And then I'm going to dump white into it. I've got white here. I take my paint bucket and I dump it in, kinda sharp. So I go up to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and then just play around. When you're happy with the blur, okay. Control D to deselect, and there is our vignette.